When my son stopped visiting after he got rich, I didn't complain. I just waited. The phone calls slowed first, once a week, then once a month, then every other month if I was lucky. Then birthdays became texts, short ones. "Happy birthday, Mom, swamped at work, talk soon." I told myself he was busy, building a future I'd once dreamed for him. A future I'd worked double shifts to make possible, scrubbing floors in office buildings while he slept, so he could have what I never did. But when he stopped coming home altogether, when the holidays passed without him, when I realized I was learning about his life through photos posted online by people I'd never met, I understood something painful and true. I hadn't lost my son overnight. I'd been losing him for years, dollar by dollar, promotion by promotion, sacrifice by sacrifice. And the worst part wasn't the absence. It was realizing that somewhere along the way, in his new world of marble lobbies and business lunches, I'd become an embarrassment. A reminder of where he came from, a place he no longer wanted anyone to know about. I'm not the kind of woman who makes a scene. Never have been. I grew up in a time when you bore your pain quietly, when you didn't air your grievances to strangers or beg for affection from people who should give it freely. My mother taught me that dignity isn't about what you have, it's about what you refuse to lose. So I didn't call him crying, didn't guilt him or make demands. I just stepped back, gave him the space he seemed to want, maybe needed. I kept living my life in the same small house where I'd raised him alone after his father left, where his growth marks still lined the doorframe in the kitchen, where his school awards and little league trophies collected dust on shelves he'd once been so proud of. The house felt bigger with him gone, quieter. I'd walk past his old bedroom. I never changed it, never turned it into a craft room or storage like my sister suggested. And I'd remember the boy who used to run in with scraped knees and big dreams. "Mama, I'm gonna be somebody someday," he'd say, eyes bright with possibility. "I'm gonna make you proud. You won't have to work so hard anymore." And I'd stroke his hair and tell him he already made me proud just by being himself, that I didn't work hard for payback, but because that's what mothers do. But somewhere between that boy and the man in the expensive suits, something got lost. Or maybe buried, under ambition, under new friends who measured worth in square footage and stock portfolios, under a life that looked perfect in photographs but had no room for the woman who'd given everything to make it possible. The distance grew in ways I didn't fully understand at first. The phone calls that did come felt scripted, like he was checking a box on a to-do list. "How are you, Mom?" he'd ask, but I could hear him typing in the background, distracted, already halfway into his next meeting. "I'm good, sweetheart," I'd say, even when I wasn't, because what was the point of honesty when someone wasn't really listening? I'd ask about his life, his work, whether he was eating well, sleeping enough, the questions mothers ask. And he'd give me headlines, never stories. "Business is great, just closed a major deal, really busy." Always busy, too busy to visit, too busy to call more than once a month, too busy to remember that I existed outside of his obligation to check in. I tried to bridge the gap. God knows I tried. I'd send him texts about small things, a recipe I'd tried that reminded me of his favorite childhood meal, a funny thing that happened at the grocery store, the roses blooming beautifully that spring. Simple things from a simple life. Sometimes he'd respond with a thumbs-up emoji, sometimes nothing at all. I learned not to expect more. Learned to find the small joy in just knowing he was out there, alive and well, even if I wasn't part of that wellness anymore. But knowing doesn't fill the silence at the dinner table, doesn't make holidays less empty, doesn't stop you from setting two places out of habit and then putting one back, doesn't stop you from reaching for the phone 10 times a day and then setting it back down because you don't want to be the needy mother, the burden, the reminder of a world he'd worked so hard to rise above. Then came the invitation, not a call, not a personal message, a group email, professionally formatted with his company logo at the top. "You're invited to celebrate Mitchell Harrison's promotion to senior vice president." My son, my Michael, now Mitchell. I sat there staring at that email for a long time, reading between the lines of what it really said. I'm someone important now. Important enough that even inviting my mother requires corporate formatting. There was a +1 option. A suggested dress code, business formal. A note about valet parking. I looked down at my work uniform, still hanging by the door from my shift at the hospital cafeteria. The same place I'd worked for 23 years. The same place that had flexible hours when he was young and needed picking up from school. The same place where everyone knew my son had made something of himself because I couldn't stop talking about him even as he stopped talking about me. I didn't go to the party. I told myself it was because I didn't have the right clothes, didn't know anyone who'd be there, would feel out of place among his colleagues and their practiced small talk. But the truth was simpler and harder. I didn't go because I wasn't really invited. Not in any way that mattered. I was a box to check, an obligation to fulfill. Yes, my mother was invited. Past tense. Invited but not wanted. Not really. So I stayed home that night, reorganized the linen closet I'd reorganized the week before, and told myself it was fine. He was living his dream. Wasn't that what I'd wanted for him all along? But something shifted in me that night. Not anger. I never felt angry at him, not really. More like resignation. A quiet acceptance that I'd done my job as a mother. I'd raised him alone, supported him, pushed him toward opportunities I'd never had. Went without so he could have. Worked overnight shifts so I could attend his day games. Learned to be both mother and father, soft and strong, nurturing and firm. And now he was there at the top, and there wasn't room for me in that picture. It wasn't personal, I told myself. It was just how things worked. People moved up, moved on, moved away from where they started. It was natural, evolution, progress. I should be happy for him, and I was. Somewhere under the loneliness, under the ache of being forgotten, I was proud. He'd made something of himself. That had to be enough. The seasons changed. Fall came with its dying colors, winter with its long nights. I kept busy, picked up extra shifts. Volunteered at the church helping elderly folks who needed companionship. Funny how I could give others what my own son wouldn't give me. Found comfort in routine, in simplicity, in the kind of wealth that doesn't show up in bank accounts, but in the way Mrs. Patterson from down the street brings me vegetables from her garden, or the way the young mothers at church ask my advice, because I'd raised a successful son alone. I built a life that didn't need Michael in it to feel complete. Not because I didn't want him there, God. I wanted him there every single day, but because waiting for someone to remember you exist is no way to live. I thought about him constantly, wondered if he was happy in that big life of his, wondered if success tasted as sweet as he'd imagined, or if sometimes in quiet moments he missed me the way I missed him. If he ever drove past our old neighborhood and remembered the woman who used to make his favorite pancakes on Sundays, who taught him to be kind, who sat up with him through nightmares and homework and his first heartbreak. But those were just thoughts, prayers thrown into the void. I didn't call, didn't reach out. I'd learned that love sometimes means giving people the space to realize what they've lost, even if they never do. Then one Tuesday in March, the phone rang at 11 at night. I was already in bed, knitting a blanket for the church donation drive, working on muscle memory alone because my eyes weren't what they used to be. The number wasn't saved in my phone anymore. I deleted it months ago in a moment of acceptance, tired of seeing Michael pop up and feeling that painful hope every time, only to be disappointed. But I knew it immediately. The way you know your own heartbeat, the way mothers always know. I stared at it for 3 rings, wondering what emergency would prompt a call this late. Maybe he'd gotten married and was calling to tell me after the fact. Maybe a courtesy notification that I'd become a grandmother. Maybe nothing at all. Maybe a pocket dial. I answered on the 4th ring. Hello. Silence, then breathing, heavy, shaky breathing. Then a voice I barely recognized, small, stripped of all that corporate confidence, trembling. Mom. Just that, just my name, or my title. The word he hadn't really used in years, always hey or nothing at all when he called. But now, Mom, said like a prayer, like he wasn't sure I'd still answer to it, like he wasn't sure he still had the right to call me that. Michael, I said, because that's who he'd always be to me. Not Mitchell, not VP, just Michael. My baby boy, no matter how old he got. He stopped, started again, his voice cracked. I didn't know who else to call. Something in my chest broke wide open. Not with joy, with something more complicated. Relief that he'd called, sadness that it had come to this, fear of what this might be, a mother's fear, the kind that never sleeps. What's wrong, sweetheart? Another long pause. In the background, I heard traffic. He was outside somewhere, alone. Everything, he finally said, and his voice broke on the word like he was 7 years old again, coming to me with a scraped knee. Mom, everything's wrong and I need help, I need. He couldn't finish, started crying. My son was crying, and every maternal instinct I'd ever had came roaring to life. Where are you? I was already out of bed, reaching for my robe, looking for my shoes. I'm in the city, I can't go home right now. The press there. Mom, it's bad, it's really bad. My business partner, we're under investigation, fraud charges. I didn't know, I swear I didn't know what he was doing with the accounts, but my name is on everything and the lawyers say. He was talking fast now, words tumbling over each other, panic rising. I lost everything today. The company, my savings, they froze my assets. Sarah left. She took the kids to her mother's. Says she can't be associated with me right now. It'll hurt her career. Everyone's gone. Everyone. And I'm standing outside a hotel I can't afford, and I needed to hear your voice. I needed my mom. I closed my eyes, felt the weight of it. Felt every mother's worst fear, your child in pain, in trouble, scared and alone. And under that, something else. Something I'm not proud of, but it was there. A small, quiet voice saying, I told you so. Told you that world was built on sand. Told you that people who love you for what you have will leave when it's gone. Told you that you can't run from your roots without eventually falling. But I pushed that voice down, because he didn't need I told you so. He needed his mother. Come home, Michael. Mom, I can't ask you to. You're not asking, I'm telling. Come home to your mother. Another silence, then so quietly, so small. Okay, Mama. That last word, Mama. He hadn't called me that since he was 12, since he decided he was too grown up for baby names. And hearing it now, broken and desperate, made my heart hurt in ways I didn't know it still could. I gave him the address he already knew but seemed to have forgotten. Told him I'd leave the porch light on, that I'd put fresh sheets on his bed, that everything would be okay because mothers have to say that even when they don't know if it's true. Hung up and sat there in the dark for a long moment, feeling things I didn't have names for. Not satisfaction. I never wanted this for him. Never wanted to be proven right that his new world was built on nothing solid. But maybe something like recognition. That some truths take losing everything to learn. That sometimes people need to fall before they remember who taught them to walk in the first place. I went to his room, the room I'd kept exactly as he'd left it, like a shrine to the boy he'd been, and changed the sheets. Put on the quilt I'd made when he was born, the one with his name stitched in the corner. The one he'd called outdated last time he was here, suggesting I get something more modern from one of those expensive stores. I fluffed the pillow, turned on the bedside lamp, the one shaped like a baseball because he'd loved baseball once, before he decided sports were for people with time to waste. Then I went to the kitchen and started cooking. It was nearly midnight, but I cooked anyway. Made his favorite, the chicken and rice dish I used to make every Sunday, the one he said was too heavy when he visited last, when he was on some diet his trainer recommended. But I made it anyway because food is love in my language, and my son needed love even if he didn't know it yet. He arrived just after 1 in the morning. I heard the car pull up, not the luxury sedan I'd seen in photos on his social media that I still checked even though he never called, but something older, probably rented. Heard his footsteps on the porch, slow and heavy. He didn't knock, just stood there. I could see his shadow through the door. This man who'd once been so sure of everything, now uncertain even of whether he could open his mother's door. I opened it for him, and the man standing there wasn't the polished executive I'd seen in photos. This was someone stripped down to essence. Expensive suit wrinkled and stained, tie gone, face unshaven, eyes red-rimmed and lost. He was carrying a single suitcase and a briefcase, and something about that briefcase made me want to cry, still clinging to the symbols of who he'd been even as it all crumbled around him. "Hi, Mom," he said, and then his face just crumpled like a child's, like my child's, and he was crying. Not the way men cry when they're trying to be strong. The way children cry when they finally find their mother after being lost and scared. I didn't say anything, just pulled him inside, let his bags fall where they may, and wrapped my arms around him the way I had 1,000 times before, when he was small and had bad dreams, when he was a teenager and his first girlfriend broke his heart, when he graduated and was scared of the future. He was taller than me now, broader, but in that moment he folded himself into my arms like he was trying to disappear, trying to become small enough to hide from the world. And he sobbed. Deep, wrenching sobs that shook his whole body. "I'm sorry," he kept saying into my shoulder. "I'm so sorry, Mom, for everything, for leaving, for being ashamed of you, for thinking I was too good for. God, I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible son, the worst son." "SHH," I said, the way I'd said it 1,000 times before. "Hush now, you're home. Mama's got you, you're home." We stood there in the doorway for a long time. I held him and let him cry and didn't say anything about forgiveness or anger or hurt because none of that mattered right now. Right now my child was in pain, and nothing, not pride, not resentment, not years of silence, mattered more than that. When his breathing finally slowed, when he could stand on his own without shaking, I guided him to the kitchen. "Sit," I said, pointing to his old chair. The one I'd never moved, never replaced, kept in the same spot like I was saving it for him. "I made your favorite." He looked at the food like he'd never seen it before, like he'd forgotten food could mean more than fuel. "Mom, it's 1 in the morning. You didn't have to." "Sit," I said again, firmer. "Eat, then we'll talk or we won't talk, whatever you need. But first you eat." He sat and he ate. And I watched him the way I'd watched him eat 1,000 meals before, and I saw him start to relax just a fraction. Saw his shoulders drop. Saw his hands stop shaking. Food is love. Food is comfort. Food is "you're safe now." And he needed all of those things. When he finished, he looked at me with those eyes I'd looked into the day he was born, the eyes that used to think I hung the moon and stars. "I messed up," he said simply. "I messed up so bad, Mom." "I know, baby. I don't mean just the business thing, I mean us, you." I stopped calling, stopped visiting, stopped acting like I had a mother who sacrificed everything for me. I was ashamed, not of what you did, but of what I came from. I wanted people to think I built myself from nothing, self-made man, and I erased you from that story. I erased the woman who made me. I reached across the table and took his hand. His big hand, the one I used to hold when crossing streets. "I know that too. Aren't you angry? Don't you hate me? I'd hate me." I smiled sadly. "I don't have time to hate you, Michael. I spent too many years loving you to know how. Was I hurt? Yes. Did I cry myself to sleep some nights wondering what I did wrong? Yes. Did I question if I'd failed as a mother every single day? But hate you?" I squeezed his hand. "Baby, you're my son, my only child. The best thing I ever did with my life. You can hurt me, disappoint me, forget me for years, and I'll still love you. That's what mothers do. We don't love you because you're successful or because you remember to call. We love you because you're ours. Because we carried you, birthed you, raised you. Because you're written in our bones. You can't erase that no matter how hard you try." He started crying again, quieter this time. "I don't deserve you." "Probably not," I said gently. "But love isn't about deserving, it's about showing up. And right now you showed up. You came home. That's enough for tonight. Tomorrow we'll figure out the rest." I showed him to his room. He stood in the doorway for a long moment, looking at all his old things. The trophies, the posters, the books, the quilt with his name. "You kept it all," he whispered. "Of course I did. It's your room. You always had a room here, Michael, even when you forgot you did." That night I lay in my own bed, listening to the house settle around us, listening to him toss and turn in the next room, listening to him cry quietly into his pillow the way he used to after his father left when he was trying to be brave for me. And I cried too, not from anger, from relief, from exhaustion, from the complicated mix of emotions that come from watching your child fall and knowing you can't fix it for them but can at least be there while they pick up the pieces. The next morning I woke early the way I always did, made coffee, started breakfast. When he came out, still in his wrinkled dress shirt and suit pants, he looked like he hadn't slept. Lost, disoriented, like a man who'd woken up in a place he used to know but had forgotten the language of. "Good morning, sweetheart," I said, like it was any other morning, like he'd never left. "I made pancakes, your favorite. Sit down." "Mom, you don't have to." "Michael Harrison, sit down and let your mother feed you." He sat, and something about that simple command, about being mothered, about not having to be in control or have answers, made him relax just a little. We ate together. I asked about his coffee preference, if he still liked his eggs scrambled, normal mother questions. Didn't ask about the legal troubles or the wife or the money. Those could wait. Right now, we just needed to remember how to be mother and son again. After breakfast, he said, "I need to make some calls, try to figure out my legal situation, see if I can." "After you shower and put on clean clothes," I said. "I washed and dried your old things that were still in the closet. They might not fit perfect, but they'll do until we can get you something proper. The world can wait while you take care of yourself." He looked at me like I'd spoken a foreign language, and maybe I had. Maybe in his world everything was urgent, every moment accounted for, every second measured in productivity and profit. But in my world, in a mother's world, self-care came first. Being human came first, and he'd forgotten how to be human somewhere along the way. That's how the days began. Small rhythms, breakfast together, him on the phone with lawyers, me doing my shifts at the hospital cafeteria. Lunch when I got home. More calls, more news, all of it bad. Dinner together where I'd try to get him to talk about something other than his legal troubles. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes we'd just sit in comfortable silence, the TV on low, the way we used to when he was young and words weren't necessary. He slept in his old room for 3 weeks. Never complained. Started helping around the house without being asked, doing dishes, fixing things that had needed fixing for years, things I'd learned to live with broken because I couldn't afford to fix them and didn't want to bother anyone. I'd watch him from the kitchen sometimes, this man in old jeans and a t-shirt fixing the loose railing on the porch, and I'd see glimpses of the boy he'd been. The one who'd help me hang laundry. The one who'd surprise me by cleaning the kitchen when I worked doubles. The one I'd lost to success and ambition and shame. The legal situation was complicated. His business partner had used their company for fraud, and while Michael hadn't known, proving that would take time and money he didn't have. The media loved the story. His face was everywhere. Every article included that photo from his promotion party, the one where he looked so confident and successful, so untouchable. They loved showing the fall. Nobody cared about the man, only the spectacle. His wife, Sarah, filed for divorce, sent papers through a lawyer, wouldn't let him see the kids, said it was traumatic for them to see him like this. That hurt him worse than anything else. He'd lie in his bed at night and I'd hear him crying, trying to be quiet, trying not to burden me. But I'd always been attuned to his pain. Mothers are. We never stop listening for our children's hurt, no matter how old they get. One Saturday morning, about a month in, I found him in the garage going through old boxes. He was holding a photo of us from his high school graduation. I was in my cafeteria uniform because I'd come straight from work. He was in his cap and gown, grinning, arm around me. He was crying as he looked at it. "I remember this day," he said when he noticed me. "I was embarrassed you came in your uniform, kept trying to stand in a way that hid it from the camera. I didn't want my friends to see, to know my mom worked in a cafeteria." He looked up at me, eyes red. "God, Mom, what kind of person was I?" "A young person," I said gently. "A scared person. A person who didn't understand yet that there's no shame in honest work. That the uniform didn't define me, my love for you did. I should have been proud. You worked that job for 23 years to give me opportunities. You worked overnight shifts so you could come to my day games. You went without so I could have. And I repaid you by being ashamed, by erasing you." I sat down next to him on the garage floor, my old knees protesting. "Michael, I need you to hear something, and I need you to really listen. You were young. You wanted to fit in. You wanted to be more than where you came from. That's normal. That's human. Did it hurt? Yes, but I never blamed you for wanting more. I only hoped that someday you'd realize that more isn't about money or status. It's about love. It's about connection. It's about knowing who you are and where you came from, not running from it." "I wasted so much time," he whispered. "Years I could have spent with you, years I'll never get back." "Then don't waste more time on regret," I said. "We can't go back. We can only go forward, and we can choose to go forward together." He looked at me then, really looked at me. "Mom, I want to make things right. I don't know how, but I want to try. Not because I'm stuck here. Not because I have nowhere else to go, because I finally see what I had, what I threw away. And I'm so sorry." "Then stop apologizing," I said, echoing my mother's wisdom, "and start living different. Be present. Be honest. Be the man I raised you to be, not the man you thought you had to become. That's how you make things right, not with words, with actions, every single day." He nodded, wiping his face. "Can I stay longer? I know I need to eventually figure out my own place, but..." "Michael, this is your home. You never stopped having a home here. The door was always open. It'll stay open. You can stay as long as you need to. Forever if that's what you need. You're my son. My home is your home, always." Something fundamental changed after that conversation. He stopped treating my house like temporary shelter and started treating it like home. Started cooking dinners for us. Started suggesting we watch our old favorite movies together, the ones we used to watch when he was young. Started asking about my day, my friends, my life, really asking, really listening. Started coming with me to church, helping with the elderly visitation program. Mrs. Patterson especially loved him. "Your boy turned out good," she told me after he'd fixed her broken steps without being asked. "You raised him right, honey. He just forgot for a while, but he remembered. That's what matters." The legal case dragged on, but slowly evidence emerged that Michael had been deliberately kept in the dark about the fraud. Character witnesses came forward, people I didn't even know he'd helped over the years. Small kindnesses he'd done. A colleague he'd mentored when everyone else ignored her. A janitor at his building he'd helped get medical treatment for his daughter. Maybe he hadn't been entirely lost to success after all. Maybe some of what I taught him about kindness and helping others had stayed rooted deeper than I'd known. Maybe I'd done something right after all. Sarah reached out eventually, not to reconcile, to negotiate. She wanted the house they'd bought together. He signed it over without argument, said he didn't want to fight, didn't want anything that would keep him from his kids. She was surprised. Her lawyer was surprised. They'd expected him to battle. But he'd learned something about letting go, about choosing peace over winning, about what actually mattered. He started seeing his kids again. Supervised visits at first, then longer stretches. He'd bring them here, to my little house, and they'd play in the small backyard where their father had played as a boy. I taught them to plant vegetables in my garden, showed them how to bake cookies from scratch, told them stories about their daddy when he was their age, stories that made them laugh and made him cry. And I watched Michael watch his children, saw the man he was becoming reflected in their eyes, saw him learning to be present, to value time over money, to understand that legacy isn't what you leave in bank accounts, but in the people who remember you, who carry your lessons, who feel your love even after you're gone. 6 months after that midnight phone call, we were sitting on the porch at sunset. I was shelling peas. He was fixing an old rocking chair that had been his grandmother's. He'd just gotten word that the charges were being formally dropped. His name cleared. He was free. And I waited for him to tell me he was leaving, going back to his old life, rebuilding his career. Instead, he said, "Mom, I've been thinking. I could probably get another corporate job, rebuild everything I lost. But I don't want to. I've been helping you around here, working with the church program, spending time with the kids, and for the first time in years I feel, I don't know, real, like myself. I'm thinking about starting a nonprofit, teaching financial literacy to low-income families, using what I know for something that actually helps people. I don't know if it'll work, but I want to try." I felt my heart swell with pride. The kind of pride that comes from watching your child finally become who they were always meant to be. That sounds wonderful, sweetheart. I should probably find my own place, though. Get out of your hair. You've done enough. Or, I said slowly, you could stay, not because you have to, but because I like having you here, because I missed you, because this house has been too quiet for too long, and because maybe, if you want, we could make up for some of that lost time. His eyes filled with tears. You'd want that, after everything. Michael, I never stopped wanting you here. I never stopped hoping you'd come home. Not just physically, but really come home. To yourself. To me. To what matters. And now you have. So yes, I want you to stay. For as long as you want to. We sat there as the sun went down. Mother and son. The way we used to when he was small, and the world was simple. And I thought about the journey we'd taken. How he'd had to lose everything to find what mattered. How I'd had to let him go and trust he'd find his way back. How sometimes love looks like patience and quiet faith, and leaving the door unlocked even when you don't know if anyone will ever walk through it again. "Mom," he said as the first stars appeared. "Yes, baby." "When I called you that night, did you think about not answering? Did you think about making me, I don't know, suffer more for what I did?" I thought about it, about those lonely years, those holidays I'd spent alone, those phone calls that never came. "No," I said honestly, "because you're my child. And when your child calls for you in pain, you answer. Always. That's what it means to be a mother. It's not conditional. It doesn't depend on whether they've been good or remembered to call or made you proud. You answer because they're yours, because you'd walk through fire for them. Because their pain is your pain, and you can't ignore your own pain even when maybe you should." That must have taken incredible strength. Not strength, love. They look the same from outside but feel different from inside. Strength is about enduring. Love is about choosing to keep your heart open even when it would be easier to close it, even when it hurts. He was quiet for a long time. Then, "I'm going to visit every Sunday, even after I move out if I do. Every Sunday, dinner together. No excuses, no work emergencies, no being too busy. I want my kids to know their grandmother, to see what real love looks like, to understand that family isn't about convenience. It's about showing up. Is that okay?" "That's more than okay, sweetheart." And he did, every Sunday. Rain or shine, success or failure, he showed up, sometimes with the kids, sometimes alone, sometimes with stories about his nonprofit struggles, sometimes just to sit in comfortable silence while I cooked and he helped. But he showed up, consistently, reliably, the way I'd always shown up for him. That's the thing about coming home. The real journey isn't the leaving or even the returning. It's the staying afterward, the showing up even when it's inconvenient, the choosing to remain connected even when it would be easier to drift away, the remembering that some relationships aren't transactions but foundations, the ground you stand on when everything else falls away. People at church sometimes ask me if I'm proud of my son, if I ever think about those years he was gone and feel bitter. And I tell them the truth. I'm proud of who he became after he fell, proud of his humility, his authenticity, his choice to build a life based on meaning instead of appearance. The years he was gone were painful, yes, but they were also necessary. Some people need to climb the mountain to realize the view from the top isn't as beautiful as the valley where they started. Some people need to chase gold to understand that their mother's love was the real treasure all along. It just didn't shine in a way the world could see. When my son stopped visiting after he got rich, I didn't complain. I just waited. I waited because I understood something he had to learn the hard way. That houses aren't homes, that success isn't the same as significance, and that the people who love you unconditionally aren't holding you back. They're holding space for who you really are, underneath all the fear and ambition and need to prove yourself to people who don't really matter. He came back not because he lost everything, but because losing everything finally cleared his vision enough to see what he'd had all along. A mother who never stopped being his mother. A home that never stopped being his home. A love that never stopped waiting, never stopped hopping, never stopped leaving the light on for him. And now, every Sunday, when I hear his car pull up, when I see him walking up that path with his children or alone, when he opens the door and calls out, "Mom, I'm home," my heart fills up in ways I thought it never would again. Because some journeys take you far away just to bring you back to where you started. Some lessons require losing everything to learn. Some love requires patience that feels like forever. But I waited. I waited because that's what mothers do. We wait, we hope. We keep the light on, we keep a place at the table. We keep our hearts open even when they're breaking. Because we know something the world doesn't, that real wealth isn't measured in money or success or status. It's measured in moments like these. Sunday dinners. Grandchildren's laughter in the backyard. Your child calling you just to talk. The quiet knowledge that you're loved and needed and remembered. That's the wealth I have now. The kind that can't be frozen by lawyers or lost in a stock crash or taken away by people who never really cared. The kind that grows instead of diminishes. The kind that fills rooms instead of bank accounts. My son brings his children over and I teach them the same things I taught him. How to be kind, how to work hard, how to value people over things. And I watch him watch me with his kids, and I see it in his eyes, the understanding of what I gave him, what I sacrificed, what I was willing to lose so he could have more. He sees it now because he's a parent too, because he knows that love that would burn the world down to keep your child safe, that love that forgives before the apology even comes. That love that waits in the dark with the porch light on, hopping against hope that someday they'll find their way home. His nonprofit is doing well. Not make you rich well, but make you proud well. He helps families understand money, helps them avoid the traps he fell into, helps them build something real and lasting. And he's good at it. Better than he was at chasing profit, because now he's chasing purpose. Now he's using his gifts for something that matters. I go to his events sometimes. Watch him speak to rooms full of people who remind me of younger versions of myself, working multiple jobs, trying to give their kids better, scared of making mistakes. And he tells them his story, all of it, including the part where he abandoned his mother because he was ashamed of where he came from. He doesn't hide it, doesn't gloss over it, uses his shame as a teaching tool. I had to lose everything, he tells them, to understand what everything really meant. And it wasn't money. It was the woman who raised me. It was time with my children. It was knowing who I was when I looked in the mirror. It was peace. It was purpose. It was love that didn't come with conditions or contracts. The first time I heard him say that in front of a room full of strangers, I cried. Not sad tears, proud tears, grateful tears. Because my son, my baby boy who I'd rocked to sleep and taught to ride a bike and sent off to college with a Tupperware full of homemade cookies, had finally figured out what I'd been trying to teach him all along. That you can have everything the world says matters and still have nothing. Or you can have very little and still be rich beyond measure. His ex-wife, Sarah, sees it too. I think it confuses her. She'll drop the kids off sometimes instead of meeting him at a neutral location, and she'll see us all together, me teaching the kids to make biscuits from scratch, Michael fixing something around the house, all of us laughing over something small and silly. And I see her face. The confusion, the regret maybe. She left him when he fell because she thought he'd never get back up. But he did get back up, just not in the way she expected. Not in a way that looks good in photos or impresses friends at parties. He got back up quieter, humbler, more real. And I think she's starting to see what she lost. Not the money or the status, but the man, the real man, the one who was buried under all that ambition and fear. She's been kinder lately, lets him have the kids more, even asked him for advice once about a financial decision she was struggling with. He helped her without hesitation, without using it as leverage. Just helped because that's who he is now. Someone who helps. Someone who gives without expecting return. Someone who understands that life isn't about keeping score. The kids are flourishing. They love coming here. Love the simplicity of it. No fancy toys or big TVs or perfectly decorated rooms. Just a grandmother's love and a father who's present. Who sits on the floor and plays with them. Who reads them stories and teaches them to fix things and tells them about their family history, the good and the bad, the struggles and the triumphs. He doesn't shield them from reality the way he was trying to shield himself. He lets them see that life is complicated, that people make mistakes, that falling down is part of learning to stand strong. My grandson, James, he's 7 now, looks just like Michael did at that age. He asked me once, "Grandma, why do you live in such a small house when Daddy used to live in a big one?" And I told him the truth. Because, baby, I don't need a big house. I just need enough room for the people I love. And this house has always had room for that. He thought about it, then nodded like it made perfect sense. "I like this house better anyway," he said. "It feels like hugs." Feels like hugs. That might be the best compliment I've ever received. Because that's what I wanted this home to be. What I wanted my love to feel like. Like safety. Like warmth. Like arms that never let go even when you push away. Michael heard that conversation. I saw him in the doorway, listening. Saw his eyes well up. Later, when the kids were playing outside, he came and sat with me in the kitchen. "I'm sorry it took me so long," he said quietly. "To understand, to see what you were trying to show me all along." I took his hand, the way I'd done 1,000 times. "Baby, some lessons take time. Some people need to walk the long road to get to where they could have been all along. You're here now, that's what matters." I wasted so much time being someone I wasn't, chasing things that didn't matter. "You didn't waste it," I corrected gently. "You learned from it, there's a difference. Every mistake, every wrong turn, every year you spent lost, it all led you back here. Back to yourself. Back to what matters. That's not waste. That's journey. And journeys are necessary, even the painful ones. Maybe especially the painful ones." He leaned his head on my shoulder, this grown man, this father, this son of mine. "I love you, Mom. I don't think I said it enough. I don't think I showed it enough. But I love you, more than I know how to say." "I know, sweetheart, I always knew. Even when you couldn't say it, even when you couldn't show it, a mother knows. We feel it in our bones, in our blood, in every beat of our hearts. You're part of me. That doesn't go away just because you forget to call." We sat there in comfortable silence, and I thought about all the years. The hard ones when I raised him alone. The proud ones when he succeeded. The lonely ones when he disappeared. The healing ones now, all of it, every moment, every sacrifice, every tear, every joy. And I realized something, I'd do it all again. Every single bit of it. Because this moment right here, my son's head on my shoulder, my grandchildren's laughter floating in from the yard, the peace in my heart, this was worth it. All of it. That night, after he took the kids home, after the house was quiet again, I sat on the porch with my tea and looked up at the stars. The same stars I'd looked at during all those lonely nights, wondering where my son was, if he was happy, if he ever thought of me. And I realized something else. I wasn't angry that he left. I wasn't even angry that it took him so long to come back. Because sometimes people need to get lost to find themselves. Sometimes they need to fall to learn humility. Sometimes they need to have everything taken away to understand what they actually have. And my job wasn't to prevent that journey. My job was just to be here when it was over, to keep the light on, to leave the door unlocked, to have his room ready, to make his favorite meal, to wrap my arms around him and remind him that no matter how far he went or how long he was gone, he always had a home. He always had a mother. He always had love that didn't depend on his success or his status or his ability to remember to call. The next Sunday, like clockwork, he came for dinner, and the Sunday after that, and the Sunday after that. A new rhythm, a new tradition, one built not on obligation but on choice, on love, on the understanding that family isn't about biology or duty but about showing up, about being present, about choosing each other over and over again. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about those years he was gone, still feel the ache of them, still remember the birthdays he missed, the holidays spent alone, the phone that didn't ring. And I let myself feel it, because pretending it didn't hurt would be dishonest. It hurt deeply, changed me in ways I'm still discovering. But I also think about now, about Sunday dinners and grandchildren's hugs and my son's hand in mine, about second chances and redemption and love that survives everything thrown at it, about the man my son became after he fell, and how that man is so much better than the one who was flying high, about how sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is the freedom to fail and the assurance that failure isn't final. When my son stopped visiting after he got rich, I didn't complain. I just waited. And my waiting wasn't weakness. It wasn't passivity. It was faith. Faith that the values I'd instilled in him would eventually rise to the surface. Faith that love planted deep enough couldn't be completely buried. Faith that sometimes the best thing a mother can do is step back and trust that her child will find their way home. And he did, not because I forced him, not because I guilted him, not because I manipulated or demanded or played games. He came home because he finally understood what home meant, what I meant, what we meant. And that understanding, born from his own experience and pain and growth, is so much stronger than any understanding I could have forced on him. People ask me sometimes how I did it, how I waited so patiently, how I didn't give up or close my heart or write him off. And the truth is, I don't know, I just loved him, even when it hurt, even when he didn't deserve it, even when it would have been easier to stop. I loved him because he's my son, and that's what mothers do. We love impossibly, unconditionally, eternally. We love even when it makes no sense, even when we get nothing back, even when the world tells us we're fools for it. But I don't think I'm a fool. I think I'm a mother. And there's a strength in that the world doesn't always understand. A strength that looks like softness. A strength that looks like surrender. But it's not. It's the strongest thing there is. It's love that outlasts everything. Love that survives rejection and abandonment and years of silence. Love that keeps a light burning in the window long after everyone else has given up. My son came home, not to the life he left, not to who he was, but to something better, something real. And watching him build this new life, watching him be the father I always knew he could be, watching him find peace in simplicity and purpose in service, that's my reward. Not the apologies or the gratitude or the Sunday dinners, though those are beautiful too. But watching him become fully himself, watching him step into the man he was always meant to be. That's what I waited for. That's what I kept the light on for. Not just his return, but his becoming, his transformation, his journey from the boy who was ashamed of his roots to the man who understands that roots are what keep trees standing when storms come. That roots are what feed the branches, what give the tree life, what make growth possible. And now, when I hear his car pull up every Sunday, when I see him walking up that familiar path with his children's hands in his, when he opens the door and calls out, "Mom, we're here," I think, this is wealth. This is success. This is everything I ever worked for, ever prayed for, ever hoped for. Not money, not status, but this love, this connection, this family imperfect and broken and healed together. When my son stopped visiting after he got rich, I didn't complain. I just waited, and my waiting was worth it. Every lonely night, every unanswered call, every holiday spent alone, all of it, because he's home now, not just physically, but really, truly home. Home in his heart, home in his understanding, home in his soul. And that's all a mother really wants, for her child to find their way, to learn their lessons, to become who they're meant to be, and to know deep in their bones that no matter how far they wander or how lost they get, there's always a light on for them, always a door unlocked, always a mother waiting, always love that never, ever runs out. That's my story. Not a story of revenge or bitterness or I told you so, but a story of love, patient love, enduring love. The kind of love that waits in the dark and keeps faith even when there's no reason to. The kind of love that transforms both the one who gives it and the one who receives it. My son stopped visiting after he got rich, but he came home after he fell. And in that homecoming, we both found something we'd lost. He found himself. I found my son. And together, we found what really matters, what lasts, what's worth holding on to when everything else falls away. We found each other, and that, more than anything, is worth waiting for.